Hey, homeschool mom. So the full swing of the homeschool schedule has begun. And you know what makes or breaks your homeschooling day? It's not the schedule. It's not the math curriculum. It's not the child's pencil grip. Although all these things can make the day feel like it's breaking. What makes or breaks the homeschool day is really us as moms and how we handle that day. What our mindset is going into it, what our responses are like in the middle of it, and how we assess it after the fact. So I have a pep talk for you today about homeschool mom attitude. I'm Misty Winkler, a second generation homeschooling mom of 5. 2 of my kids are graduated from our homeschool, and I'm still working on 3 of them. I'm the author of the new book, The Convivial Homeschool, Gospel Encouragement for Keeping Your Sanity While Living and Learning Alongside Your Kids. And today I am doing this attitude pep talk video as a collaboration with Ashley Weaver. Ashley also has a channel about applying the gospel in your homeschool life, and it's called Joyful Noise Learning. She also has 3 at home that she's homeschooling, but she's more in the trenches in those elementary years, which are so foundational and so important. So if you need a homeschool mom encouraging friend, check out Ashley's channel and be sure to follow up this video with her video about adjusting your attitude as a homeschool mom. It'll be linked at the end, and it's also linked in the description below. I feel like Ashley really has a lot more of that fun mom vibe going on that I would love to rub off on me a bit more. But I'm more a drill sergeant mom by nature, and I have had to put smile at my children on my to-do list before. But smiling at our kids really is important enough to be on the to-do list, even on the top 3 things that have to be done today. Because the attitude that we communicate in our homes makes a huge difference to the atmosphere of the home, and that means it makes a huge difference to the whole learning environment. Being cheerful and upbeat and resilient as a homeschooling mom is not just a nice add-on to figure out after all the curriculum is chosen and the schedule's in place. Our attitude is foundational to those curriculum choices working and to the schedule working. We really need to begin with what we are giving from our own selves to our kids. And that starts with our attitude. In fact, that's why my blog, simplyconvivial.com, my podcast, Simply Convivial, and my book have that weird word in it, convivial. What does convivial mean? Convivial is a festive atmosphere of being together. Convivial means doing life together in fellowship with one another. It really is what we're after as homeschooling families. And it begins with our attitude as moms. So today, let's dig into 3 practical things that we can do to make our homeschool more convivial. Adjusting our attitude, changing our mindset, these can feel like insurmountable projects that we don't even know how to go about working on. It feels abstract or vague. You can't really just tell yourself to be more cheerful and have that work. Here are 3 things, though, that you can do in your homeschool day to help improve that relational flow and atmosphere with your kids. Each of these 3 strategies touch on some of those pain points that trip us up and turn us into tyrant mom, or at least turn me into tyrant mom. I won't speak for you. But these 3 solutions help me as mom take a breath, step back, and set the tone that I want our homeschool to have. So, number 1, I already told you about, and that is to put smiling on my checklist. If the atmosphere of our homeschool is a vital part of the learning experience itself, and it's 1/3 of education, according to Charlotte Mason, the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is set by me, then that means that my facial expressions are key to the learning happening in our home. And that means it goes on my checklist. I need the visual reminder of what's really important, because it's so easy to get into checking the box mode where you're just like, no, we got to get on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And before you know it, it's drill sergeant time, or it's frustrated mom time. When smiling is right there on my list, it's not there so that I can check it off and be done with it. It is there, though, to remind myself to smile, to chill out, to enjoy the time that I have with my kids here, doing meaningful work with them. It reminds me of the proverb that a harsh word stirs up anger, but a soft answer turns away wrath. Putting a smile on my face not only changes the atmosphere for my kids, but it changes myself also. Smiling isn't just an external fake accessory that we put on, but smiling is actually a choice that we can do with our bodies that changes our bodies and even our brains. When we choose to smile, we are choosing to relax and connect with people. And that in turn will build up our reasons for smiling. But we can begin by choosing to smile, so it goes on the daily checklist. You might be skeptical, but try it and then come back and tell me in the comments below how much it actually did help. I dare you. You can tell me if it didn't work, but I don't think it's going to happen. Put smile at the kids on your checklist. Choose your facial expression. Choose your demeanor. It doesn't have to be whatever is currently the default turmoil in your heart. You can choose to put a smile on your face and change the whole atmosphere and dynamic of your homeschool day. Number 2, morning time. Now, maybe you've heard about morning time, together time, circle time, morning basket time. The names circulate on the internet. More than a decade ago, when I was a young mom on the internet looking for answers, I found Cindy Rollins, who called it morning time, and she always said that it was the most important part of her homeschool day. I believed her, and I did it, and now I am saying the same thing. Although it wasn't always the easiest part of our homeschool day, and it wasn't even always the most cheerful part of our homeschool day, honestly. Not when the kids were little and there were toddlers making noises and messes and fussing, and there was a lot more kid wrangling and distractions and discipline happening during that time. But we persevered, and now I have to say that the time that we invested together in our homeschool, whatever homeschool you are doing together, it's that time that is building the convivial relationships in your home, even if there are instances that don't feel convivial. dealing with that, being together, learning together, starting your homeschool day together, especially with singing and even reciting, where you're all literally saying the same thing together. Those are the times in our homeschool where we are building the blocks of relationship, of conviviality, of being able to do life together cheerfully, because it's a time where we are learning together, where we're enjoying the books together, we're singing together, we are saying those same words over and over together. Then later in our homeschool day, the kids go off and work on their own things and read their own books and write their own papers. And mom's a little bit of a drill sergeant, making sure all that work does get done. But the tone has been set. The pillar has been put in place. That this is a life we are living and building together. And all the other work flows out of that afterwards. And I don't know about you, but I find math to be a terrible thing to begin the homeschool day with. Even though everyone wants it to be done and over with, math is the thing most likely to cause tears in our homeschool, and it just goes better for everyone if we've started with some singing and some scripture and some together time before we tackle that math page. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be math tears later, but it means that that's not how we start our day. That's not the tone that we set. Instead, we go to that math having already made some relational connection in the day during morning time. If you need more resources for morning time, more encouragement, more information, then check out my friend Pam Barnhill. She's got you covered. Okay, number 3. The third thing that we can do to build a convivial atmosphere in our homes and choose to have a cheerful attitude as a homeschool mom is to find mottos for ourselves. These are go-to quick and easy statements that we use to parent and disciple our children constantly. Because I like to say homeschooling is just intense parenting. Homeschooling is parenting 24/7. And I think that a part of what causes frustration to build up inside of us and overwhelm and exhaustion is that we constantly are lecturing and trying to pull kids back to their work and instruct them and redirect them to the work that they're supposed to be doing, and our words run out, or our energy runs out, or our patience runs out. But many of those things that we are repeating to our children, but many of those things that we are needing to tell our children are reminders. Like, when you're done, put it away. Start at the top with that letter. Sit up straight. Speak clearly. These are things that we find ourselves repeating. And so if we approach our day with a few mottos, we actually are eliminating some of the decision fatigue and word fatigue that we experience. We have go-to quick sayings that are just right on the tip of our tongue. We can repeat in a practiced, cheerful, upbeat manner. Our kids know what we mean by the shorthand, and we don't feel like we have to go on and on explaining ourselves or delivering a lecture or preaching to our children when they just needed a quick reminder and a redirection. We can do that by using the same words over again, and that puts our voice in our kids' heads in a much more effective way also. You might not reap that benefit right away, but when they're 30, they will thank you. Obey right away, all the way, with a good attitude every day was a go-to we had when we had toddlers and early elementary age kids. Voices cheerful, polite, and strong was one that we did when our kids were in later elementary and they were tempted to mumble and mutter. try that again is a go-to saying that I have. Instead of just not accepting an incorrect answer, or instead of lecturing on whining or complaining, it's just try again. Don't speak to your mother that way. Try again. Having go-to responses that help us parent and disciple our children helps us keep the proper tone, stay upbeat, feel less frustrated, because we aren't, as moms, overwhelmed with trying to find the right words to communicate, as if we just find the right words or the right lecture, then we'll never have to remind our kids again. We're going to have to remind our kids over and over and over. That's just part of the gig. Make it easy on yourself by having what you're repeating be mottos. I have a blog post that has all kinds of mottos, not only that our family has used, but that other families inside my community at Simply Convivial Continuing Education have used over the years. We pulled a whole bunch of mottos from our community, put them in one mega blog post that is so much fun and so helpful. So that resource is in the link below also, along with Ashley's video that goes alongside this one on maintaining a cheerful attitude as a homeschool mom. So be sure to check out Ashley at Joyful Noise Learning, her YouTube channel, and subscribe here at this channel. Next week, I have episodes with Dorinda Wilson. Next week, I have an interview publishing with Dorinda Wilson of The Unhurried Homeschooler, as well as a post about why you should only write a 3-item to-do list. You should have a top 3 to-do list, and I explain why and how in next week's episode. So subscribe so you don't miss anything. And next up, enjoy Ashley.